Here are some highlights of this program.
Hello everybody.
Welcome to Brainstorm exclusive interview.
Our education should be corrected, adapted, and updated.
Live better, they can send their children to school because they can interact with their authorities.
Mechanics, electricity, computer science, innovation,
And we know that is a brainstorm.
Yourself, after watching this interesting program, notice the final statement made by our notable guest, a brand new one. Hello everybody and welcome to Brainstorm Broadcast. Every year students from different parts of the world that graduate at colleges. What they look forward after their higher education training, finding or creating a job. But today's show is focused on the theme college graduates, job seekers, or job creators. We're going to discover many things about job, or especially training that students follow or they gain at universities or colleges, and what do those trainings help them in the future or in their own life. Joining me now on this set is Mr. Yuluka Bamba, professional translator and interpreter. Hello, Mr. Yuluka Bamba, and welcome to this program.
Hi, sir. Thanks for having me here.
And I think that you got other qualities apart from being a professional translator and interpreter, just to add to get some ideas of those watching you, what you do in life.
Yes, indeed. I am a senior professional interpreter and translator, and I have been serving in this capacity for over 37 years. And apart from that, I am the head on interim for the Association of Interpreters and Translators in the DRC. I mean the professional interpreter and translators.
And I know apart from that you've recently graduated from translation school as well, and you follow a training, a kind of seminar at the UPN. Is that true?
Yes, indeed. I registered as a student aiming for a master degree in the translation and interpretation area. I mean, here it's already at the level of the study of the translation science. That is it.
So today's topic we're going to deal with is college graduates, job seekers or job creators. So I want to delve into this matter by asking the first question: what is the vocation of colleges as far as higher education is concerned?
Higher education is very important. It's the aim for the higher education is to produce students who are able to conduct analysis, researches in order to do good to their society. The kind of our society is rigged with so many problems. And some people even say the society is sick and it needs some kind of special cure. And that will only come from the students, the persons produced by the university, the products from the higher education. That is why it is too important. And that is the vocation to answer your question.
From your viewpoint, I think that is the same with others who are watching this program right now, that there are a lot of benefits from those who have benefited higher education training. And from what we see on the ground, we want to ask the question to know, are there some requirements for higher education training? If yes, what are those requirements?
Well, requirements are necessary. The very first point I'd like to raise is that not everybody could go up to the higher education college. And there are people who could just go and attend the vocational schools. Because college would require higher skills, people who can stay for so many years at the university, people who could conduct researches and conduct relevance analysis. If you have such a mind, then you go to the college. Otherwise, better go to the vocational schools.
Yeah, vocational school, it means there are high expectations from those attending colleges or universities. It means they need or must meet requirements for being available and also benefit from what they get in terms of training. That's what you mean.
That is what I mean. Higher expectation, because those people should address the most difficult, thorny problems the society is facing. For example, you see all these problems in the eastern part of the DRC requiring peace, and that requires special skills in order to address such problems. But those attending the vocational schools are likely to become carpenter, for example. They would spend a shorter period of time at learning in order to become what they want to be. But for university, for colleges, they have to take more time because the mind, it affects the mind. The mind must be exercised for a longer period of time. Suppose you want to be the head of state, you need special skills. You want to be a prime minister, a minister, you want to lead a parliament. All those would require higher skills and not lower skills, I believe personally.
College education requires or goes hand in hand with a job, because someone cannot find a good job or a job, high-paying job, without having or benefited higher education training. So in the following video, you're going to find out or discover college and career pathway. Please take a look at this video and we'll be back.
Meet Julie. She's about to graduate high school. Julie wants to be an engineer. She wants to have an exciting career and make a difference in the world. So, she begins filling out college applications, but she has a problem. She doesn't know what type of an engineer she'd like to be. To be honest, she's not really sure what it means to be an engineer, or if she'll enjoy being an engineer, or if it's truly a good fit for her. What she does know is that the education is going to be expensive. What if we could send Julie back in time? Back to an earlier point in her education, and expose her to a wide array of careers and hands-on experiences with authentic technology in those areas. We'd put Julie in teams, problem-solving with real-world challenges to help her discover her interests and skill set. We teach Julie about specific career pathways and prepare her to pursue the pathway that makes the most sense for her before she graduates. Now, what if we could do the same for all the other students and prepare them to identify a college and career pathway that makes sense for them before they graduate? Well, now we can, with College and Career Ready Labs from Paxton Patterson.
Now, is higher education compulsory for an easy job opportunity?
Not only higher education, even vocational education, both can provide or help generate jobs. It's not just a matter of, but I think for the high school, somebody has to stay for a longer period of time. Rather than the vocational school, the shorter period of time, and then you seek a job. But for the university, you stay longer than that. But both ways can help generate employment.
And to be clear, since you combine university training and vocational school. Can you make a difference between both? To be clear.
Yes. In the higher school, at the higher school level, people are trained to conduct researches. First of all, they must have mastery. They have to master what's the special discipline, their disciplines. They have to learn, they have to acquire skills, and for a longer period of time, and they must prove that they have actually mastered their discipline. And then they can go on their own. But at the level of the vocational school, it is just for a shorter period of time. Once you've got your skill, it's not necessary for you to go and conduct researches, conduct a relevance analysis, addressing societal problems. Here, it is about a cognitive area, cognitive science. Here, it is about knowledge, pure knowledge, and deeper knowledge. For example, you cannot have philosophy in the vocational school, but you do have philosophy at a higher level, I mean the high school.
Yes, since we want to talk about college education, in Congolese context, which one is the best, if you want to be pragmatic? A vocational school or college education? Just an easy way out or a quick pathway to finding a job in Congolese context?
Being enlightened, I would never try and tell you this one is better than the other. All are best for the country, such as DRC. Don't we need the carpenters? Don't we need people to do some practical jobs, like the carpentry? We don't need them. For the advancement of this society. We don't need the bricklayers, the very best one. Likewise, we need people with higher skills from the higher education. Both, according to me, are very important. But the society has set some scales. For example, those who have achieved more studies will earn more money, but pay attention, though the mechanic can be richer than somebody who has been to the university. It is possible, I believe personally.
Yeah, this is a fact from your own observation as a Congolese living in Congolese society, that if someone has taken a college education and a vocational school, it may succeed in his life, no matter the kind of career he wants to seek or to pursue, at least that the job can provide what he needs in his life. The following video will help especially folks who seek job to find some tips. And please look at it and we will be back. Please watch.
Really hone in on what they've learned during school, how it will apply to the job, any internships they've done, any volunteer groups, any boards that they've sat on. Everything counts.
All the workers may have the experience, but I think what the new people bring is new ideas, new way of looking at things and doing things. And now in this environment that we live in, we're all about change. And these new individuals bring in that change.
If you're looking for a position and you're up against candidates that have stronger experience, don't forget to pull out your past experience and the qualities that you have around coachability and your experience in recent education. Because I think there's a lot of fast starts, there's a lot of strong learning curves in positions these days, and you can set that tone right away when you set your resume through.
Best piece of advice is just remain open to any opportunity.
All right. Now, why do many Congolese high school graduates aim at attending college, especially here in Congo? Most of them, you can tell them, if for instance you're a parent, you want to guide your child into the vocational school, but no, I want to go to college. Why so much preference for college education than vocational school?
I told you earlier that our society is kind of sick now. Why? There are so many loopholes, so many weaknesses. But I remember in the past, every school should have a whole department for students to get guidance. And parents were very much involved in good interaction with the school officials to discuss about the future of the students. For example, somebody, a guide in school, will approach the parents and discuss about the child's skill and offer some advice like, we would like your child to attend the vocational school rather than to go to college for higher education, or for such a type of child, we would like him to go to higher education. We used to have such meetings at school, but nowadays it's all about money. When you are invited by the school officials, authorities, it's about money. They want their money, period. And then you go back after the meeting.
Yes, I guess you talk facts, all right? This is what you've experienced. But please tell us, what is the place of research or scientific research at college education? Nowadays, things are the same or things have changed? Because I still remember a class that teaching scientific research. What has happened today?
This one has been killed.
Really?
Let me tell you something. If you look at the United States of America, why is it developed? It's because they put lots of money into education. It's because they invest a lot in research, scientific research, and they can provide solutions to many problems facing the world. And they're always in the champion, position, because they have research, they fund researches. Our society suffered from lack of advanced development. If you look, the main cause is that we do not have enough resources to invest in areas such as research. And some societies here in Africa, they say it's not a priority. But if it is not a priority, how could you have an advanced farming activity? How could you have advanced agricultural processes? How could you have advanced, areas? Because since you do not have the necessary fund for research. You've not dedicated fund for research. I think scientific research is very important. It is key for the development of each and every society in the world, and we do need it.
I want to underline your last sentence saying that scientific research is a key for development, but is a problem related to funds, resources, or is a willpower, or even students themselves, or there is no training that help the student to do research well in order to prepare the future, because it is true that scientific research must be promoted. But what is the real problem? Money or willpower or students themselves?
Let me start by telling you it's about political will. First and foremost, political will. If we want development for our country, let us talk about how will our society look like 100 years later, 50 years on? How will our society look for? Let us take pride in building or setting the stage for real development, for real change even after we're no longer alive. And let us work for next generations also. Here in Africa, in countries like ours, we do not work for the future generations. That is the problem. And there's a song in the elementary school in Great Britain, leave a flower to the next generation.
But now, why can't you? I seem to agree with what you are saying right now, but I want you to know, but this is the concern, why most of Congolese students are job seekers and job creators. This is the problem we don't understand, because higher education is closely linked to research, and I think job creation. But why most of Congolese citizens, Congolese students, after they graduate high or college, they are job seekers, then job creators?
Let me tell you something unusual. It's about the mindset. While attending school, college, or whatever, was the mind actually developed? And that is a failure in education in some societies. The task, the main mission of colleges was to develop, first and foremost, the mind of the people, the mind of the student. We put some ethics rule on the mind. They would know how to respect the ethics. We give them proper training, serious training, and when they grow, when they complete their education, they would know what to do. And among the things to do properly is job creation.
And you know quite well that even you yourself, for most of them, if for instance there is an offer, they prefer office job than handiwork. And what does this trend come from? Because in the society community to function well, you need the both kinds of people, those who use their hands to work to earn their life or their living, and those who can also do or apply for office job. But what the trend is, the most of people, even young people, wants to get an office job than manual work.
Practical training. Education is a combination of theoretical, training and practical training. We must do both. Failing to do one is a problem. And I notice here, people come and talk. Sometimes you see a professor and a college talking. Only after finished talking, he leaves the room. He will be doing so for the whole year. Those students will be just in the position of copying, writing. Where is the practical training? Where are the companies to receive students for them to practice actually? Everything is just at the theoretical aspect. That is very wrong. If you have a school, if you are the head of a school, think of both combining theoretical training and practical training. Practical training is key. It's very important. Practice makes perfect, and you would agree with me.
I realize that from your viewpoint is that we notice most of the time when there is a practical value, what the students learn, and they know how to apply it, this is what matters. I think that's what you just mentioned is clear. But now, basically, who are mostly offered job opportunity? College graduates, job seekers, or professionally trained students?
Professionally trained with a higher degree of practice and theories. If you know what to do, teaching people to do what is right, good for them, very practical. Those are really lined and prepared and braced to take job immediately.
Okay, thank you. The following video, in line with what we develop here in this program, college student job seekers or job creators, will help us highlight the difference between vocational training versus college education. Please watch this video, and we'll be back.
Today I want to talk about vocational work versus college work. Hi, I'm Bob Ritz. I'm the founder of Career Coach Services. Now, I've worked with many high school and college students over the last 25 or 30 years. And a lot of times the college students get out and the average wage is around $60,000. In fact, that's what it is at UC Berkeley right now. The average graduate makes about 60 grand. But I have other students who've gone on and to go into plumbing and gotten an apprenticeship and become part of the union, or students who have gone through and done management with different retail companies. And they're doing financially a lot better than some of the college students are because, number one, they're vocationally trained and they're actually worth more in a company than the graduate is. And then, of course, a college graduate has the burden of the debt if they've not paid for their college up front. So as we go into the next couple of years, you're going to be finding a lot more students going into a vocational route. And companies like IBM and Apple 2 years ago had 50% of their new workforce were hired without college degrees. Why? Because they can train them better than the college would train them for the positions that they'll be taking with them. So think about long and hard when your student says, I don't really want to go to college. Or maybe you're the student that's in college thinking, this just really isn't for me. There's a lot of vocational options out there, and a lot of people out there in the world who are millionaires who did not start in a college relationship. So I love college. I'm a big, huge Cal Bear fan, but at the same time, I see the value of people taking stock of their talents and their skills and finding work that really suits them and their interests out in the world. So if you want to reach out to us and have more guidance in this area, some assessments that will help you figure out what vocational jobs you should be having or ought to be having, you can reach us at www.careercoachsvc.com or through LinkedIn and the Messenger. Thanks, and have a great day.
All right, we're running after time. I think we're going to just face, I think that a couple questions left. As far as job opportunity is concerned, what is the purpose of professional experience? We know that students sometimes when they apply for a job, they require, or they request, it's like one of the requirements to have a number of years of professional experience. So you think that is an obstacle for those with college education degree?
It is actually an obstacle, a serious one. If I have to give a piece of advice to those who organize the educational sector, I would kindly require them, the Ministry of Education, for example, to act in a way that from the beginning of the year, after the students have learned, at some stage, they need to go and practice. That is very important. They need to show that they have understood, that they can use practically what they have learned. That is very important. And that is paving the way for opportunities in the future. Because when you have trained somebody for several years, 8 years, say 8 years, and you realize that the person is able, because he's learned how to drive, he can drive effectively from your school, that is better. You can directly recommend a person for a job somewhere. But the thing here is, once again, lack of practice, and only practice makes perfect. If we indulge in such a path, and people can, for example, master what they have learned, and they have practiced, and they have become perfect, and what they've learned they have been able to perfect, I think it's not to be an issue for them to be employed somewhere. But the experience is set on the ground that the people coming even from the colleges, once employed, sometime I've met some that they were not able even to write a letter, an administrative letter. Look at the mistakes they're making. You're under the impression maybe they didn't learn, or they didn't learn properly, and you ask yourself the question, what happened exactly? So those are the problems to be fixed. And the authority, the government authority, officials need to open their eyes, because it's about our generation, it's about our future, engaging the whole country for a bright future and not for a bleak future.
Okay, thank you so much. But briefly speaking, what could be your advice in terms of statement as regards job seeking or job creation to especially young graduates from different colleges?
I would like some structures to be established at the level of the schools, the colleges. Look, we are receiving a lot of money from students. Parents are making a lot of sacrifices, and we need to help those students. Helping them, what does it mean? Helping them means to help them to be good job creators, for example, people who can generate jobs. And that takes a lot of thinking. It means they went through the critical thinking, they can produce, they can generate something to do. And I'm not against job seeking. Job seeking, not everybody would have the necessary skill to create a job. Some people can have such a skill to work on their own, but others won't have that skill. That's about, the talents. Some people are talented, some people are gifted, that is inborn, and we do have the soft skills, and so on.
Thank you so much, Mr. Yulukabamba, for your insight. Appreciate it so much. And for your invitation, responded to come here to break down this relevant issue. Thank you so much for responding to this invitation and for this insight.
Thanks a lot.
It's been always a pleasure to be with Mr. Yulukabamba on this stage, breaking down different several topics, relevant ones. For instance, today we discussed the college graduates, job seekers, job creators. It was really wonderful. Ladies and gentlemen, we are quite well aware that you were many to watch this wonderful program, and we encourage you to keep watching. In the days ahead, other issues will be dealt with on this stage, only on the second national channel, Artens de Développement. Thank you so much for watching, and bye. Here are some highlights of this program.
Hello, everybody.
Welcome to Brainstorm exclusive interview.
Our education should be corrected, adapted, and updated.
Live better, they can send their children to school because they can interact with their authorities.
Mechanics, electricity, computer science, innovation, yeah.
And we know that is a brainstorm.
You yourself, after watching this interesting program, notice the final statement made by our notable guest, a brand new one.